Hello! Today I decided to play Smells Like Grandma's, a solo release from nkstrq1m1. It's a extremely cool map for copper, very oppressive, claustrophobic, dark, narrow, there's platforming. It's extremely sort of visually busy as well, with a kind of industrial aesthetic, and exudes a real sort of sense of menace. Everything is decayed and rusted, industrial machinery that's fallen into a state of disrepair. It's a unique look with a texture set, but it retains a very Quakey feel. Hyper-dense stuff like this, like the Claustrophobia series for Doom, or things there's been a lot more of recent releases for Quake that do this, like Trash Bang solo releases, Ionis's Christmas Jam map, are very, very hard to pull off correctly. It really does require a sort of understanding of monster roles and player movement and so on to be able to pull it off without, well, just making a box with monsters in that's very unsatisfying to deal with. nkstrq1m1 has also created custom music for this map, and combined with the atmospheric sound effects, it's really something special. So without further ado, here's a 100% playthrough. And here we are. So, I'm playing relatively quickly here, but you can see this map has a really unique look. Lots of Quake 3 textures, a lot of hanging chains, you got the sound effects, it's menacing. You've got that sort of red fog as well, but it's very visually noisy. Each surface is very greebly and very complicated. Now, Copper's nightmare, this map is very cruel. The ammo economy is extremely harsh, and you can see here that there's a series of drop-downs into hit-kill enemies. And let me tell you, when there's no health picks pick up, you do not want to be hit by a grunt. A grunt can become something extremely dangerous. But I suppose the downside here is that the beginning starts with this series of drop-downs, and it's very easy just to be passive and to not drop down. Once you've made the mistake once of jumping into these little pins, which are very nice, you basically don't want to do it again, and you can defuse a lot of them, unfortunately. It's just kind of a negative side effect of relying on a drop-down situation. Now, importantly here, this is another example of a very awkward crossfire. It's best dealt with by kind of hanging out in the corners. So the homogenizer here, you get the first sort of glimpse of platforming. If you fall in those pits, you will die. Do not fall in those pits. But you can see you've got these ogres, and they are in a pin situation on both sides here. And if they miss you, as you can see, the grenades do bounce off the wall and will probably hit you. They're pretty well positioned and spaced out to do that. So as you can see here, I'm down to 22 HP, and I've not actually seen any health yet, so a little alarming. One thing about this map I will say, there are 6 secrets and 1 large mega secret, but they are all tied to these little shoot switches. It's the only way you can find them, and given how dense the map is, they are super, super hard to find. I mean, really, really hard to find. I had to cheat, basically, and even then, with Fulbright and stuff, I couldn't find the bloody things for a long time. But they do provide much, much needed respite in terms of ammo and health, which without the map is extremely tight on those resources in a way which is actually probably more interesting to watch than the 100% demo. I should probably add that as a showing off thing. But they are needed for the super secret, so we're going to keep going. Anyway. So as you can see here, soundtrack's really starting to kick into gear. Combat is kind of frontal, but it's never just from one angle. At least there's ways monsters can filter in from different sides, and that's what makes it kind of scary. But again, you see here another reliance on this drop-down situation, so I can just take advantage of that. With the amount of density of texture work, like the hanging chains and stuff like that, they add to the ambience a lot, but they also occlude vision a great deal. Combined with the extreme darkness, because this is a really dark map. There seems to be a new fetish for making dark maps with the Trash Bang's most recent release is another great example of that. But combined with the darkness, it's really hard to see what you're shooting at, basically. It becomes almost like a threat within itself, a monster within itself, something to deal with. Because it's all very low-tier enemies, but given the way they're positioned, they are just lethal. Absolutely lethal. In the best kind of way. You can see here you've got these suspended walkways. Now these are a nightmare because there's just no space to strafe and dodge here. But again, this kind of enforces an unfortunate degree of passivity, which I suppose isn't bad. I mean, cautious, precarious kind of romp through the map is nice. But it's kind of the primary way in which you engage with the map. If there was something to break it up a bit, like with some very dense claustrophobic, like actual like arenas, where controller's taken away from me as a player, the tempo shifts and, you know, the map's now setting the pace, I would like that a great deal. But there's nothing wrong with this, it's a lot of fun. And you can see here, there was a situation where you came on this corner, it spawned in more things and they've sent some more enforcers on the right hand side, but you can abuse that. Example here of a really nasty spawn there, the Vorv that just comes in. Absolutely terrifying theme positioning. And oof, it's such a lovely looking map. I really can't get over just how nice and unique this map looks, and I think the red fog effect really does a great deal of that. Our first Shambler to scare us. Relatively restrained though. So here's a section of map that is scary. It's the claustrophobia of those platforms, but with also actual insta-kill platforming around it as well. This actually does enforce a degree of aggression. And another secret switch there. Good luck ever finding that one, by the way. Good luck. Gives us some very useful grenades. Those grenades, you can squander them if you don't find secrets so easily. You've got to like actually think about what you're doing. We're above an instant kill pit here. It may not be obvious, but trust me, we are. Dangerous, dangerous stuff. And another hidden switch there, which gives you a ring. Now this section here is extremely harsh. Yeah, you're dropping down onto. If you move too quickly here, I have just fallen straight in without thinking. Not fun, not fun at all. And a horrible little pin on the platform where you can't even strafe. That's just a degree of cruelty there. Trying to find the secret. Failing. More grenades. But this section of the map is really... Mechanically, the platforming isn't demanding, but it's terrifying. It's really... sets your teeth on edge. And here's a really cool idea here. It gives you a load of cells, and you go, oh my god, cells, ammo. More ammo than I've seen in a long time in one place. And you look, and there's a gate there which is locked, which teases you with the lightning gun. And you could search all around there for a little switch. You are not going to find one. There is no way. It opens later. So, you've got to move on. It's a real dangling carrot that gets you so excited. And you've got to just continue pressing on. You can see how low I am here on health. Just how brutal the economy is on there, Nightmare. Taking advantage of every little corner to peek through, you know. Getting ourselves back up to a comfortable 30 HP, which actually in this game is comfortable compared to like Doom. Quake, you can make a lot work with a lot less health because of the way the variances with the monster attacks and stuff. But what it said there is when you get to the end it says maybe go back for the lightning gun. And this is a real risk-reward situation here, because going back for the lightning gun, obviously it reseeds the area with much higher tier monsters. It's a scary trek back as well because you do the platforming. But you do get rewarded with a lightning gun. And more importantly, you get rewarded with the switch for the big secret. Now the big secret for this map is amazing. And it's one of those things I wish was easier to get to, because it really... We'll get there when we get there, but I think it really makes this map something special. So we're making our way across the pipework again, platforming our way back. Of course it reseeds a third time, because why wouldn't it, with something even scarier? Because you can't just give somebody a lightning gun and expect them, to have that for free. No, that's good. That's really nicely thought out. As it should be. But you do get a bit of extra ammo, so you do get a reward in the end, but it's delayed gratification. And we've headed back now. You'll see. This map is actually... everything looks the same corridor-wise. It's very samey. It's very detailed, very pretty, but a lot of the areas look the same. And the map does a really good job of leading you around on a loop. So when all the doors are open, if you start backtracking and playing about, you might find yourself getting lost quite easily. But if you follow the breadcrumb of monsters, the monster placement and stuff like that, you can have a good time. And now we finally have a rune. And that trap there is brutal. Now this could have been really something special, but it doesn't quite work. So as you can see here, the Vors push you back, and you want to run off the edge here. And this is a fantastic pin, a really claustrophobic, fantastic pin situation. You've got a Shambler, and then behind you you've got the Fiends. And if you want to push out the room and try and escape, there's a Vor down there. But you can just stay on the top of the ledge. And because of the way you've been trained to be passive through the map, you'll just be passive. It really needed a literal backspawn or something like that where the rune was to really drive the player into those pin situations, and that would have made that something really horrifying in a good way. But you do all this, exit door, hooray! But if you go back to the start, this is the super secret, which isn't the most obviously in the world. Quad run! Map has reconfigured a little bit. You've got a quad, you've got LG, you've got armor, so you've got all the resources now. It's like a gear shift from what you had before to something totally different, of cathartic to sort of shambler murdering. And as you can see here, they've added these cute little signs everywhere which help push you in the right direction, which I think is very sweet. But it's not all fun and games. I mean, you're collecting all of the runes now, but the timer on these quads is pretty darn strict, so don't get lost. Keep going with the flow, and you just got to push really hard. You can fuck this up. I'll give you a little secret. I actually did fuck this up the first time. I had enough ammo to do it anyway, but I ran out of quad. So just keep pushing. Though you still can get a bit lost here if you're not careful, but the big signs telling you where to go, it helps. It helps a lot. Shamblers, shamblers, shamblers. So many shamblers. Unfortunately now you have to combine this with a bit of that scary platforming again. So just be confident with your quads. Don't fall into the abyss. This bit here, the bit where I got lost last time. You do have to push back around. You're basically revisiting all the sections of the map you were before in the same order. That's where you're going to keep in your head. And this is a particularly strict bit of quad running here because of... There's a limit to how fast you can go when you're on these platforms. And as you can see, there's a lot of shamblers down here. See here, just made it. Fantastic. Back up the pipe, now we're heading toward the exit. I do adore this map. I do adore this map. It's a real experience. And you get, better late than ever, secret rocket launcher to cap it all off. So that was Smells Like Grandma's by nkstrq1m1. I think that's their first map release, their first solo map release. It's fantastic. It's something totally different. And I would really recommend strongly that you go out there and play it. So there's a link to it on Slips here. I'll put a link to the music track that they did with this. I think that's in the README, so I'll pull that out as well. Thank you very much. Have a good day.